is, what is meant by limited?
Okay.
The definition of the word limited. And other thing is anatma, which is just because it is constantly changing, why should it cause unhappiness?
So first question, what is the definition of limited?
Yeah.
So we covered this before. Limited, in Sanskrit, we call it parichinna. Parichinna. And so this kala, desha, and vastu. So three kinds of limitations are there. So kala parichinna, desha parichinna, easier to appreciate. Means that which occupies a space that is not unlimited. That is not unlimited. That is not infinite. That is not that it occupies a portion of space. So it's called desha parichinna. That means what? That thing, if I say, here is a book. Here's a book, if I say, oh, this book is here. And it is in my hand. It is not there on the table. It is not there on that table. It is not there on the floor there. It is not there in so many places. In fact, this book, it is not there in more places than it is there. Correct? It is not there in more places than the number of places in which it exists. So clearly, it's very limited from the point of view of space. Desha parichinna. It's called desha parichinna. Then there can be another type of limitation. It is called kala parichinna. Kala. Time-wise limited. So that also, I think by now you all know, everything has a limited existence in time. Everything is created at some time and then it changes and then it perishes after some time. So kala parichinna is there. And then there is something called vastu parichinna. Vastu limitation. Vastu limitation means the fact that this is a book itself is a limitation. It means it is not any of the millions of things you know of. And itself is a limitation. Correct? So Vedanta talks about these three kinds of limitations. Kala, or desha, kala, and vastu. And through these limitations, or through the appreciation of these limitations, we are beginning to appreciate Atma. That is why this Atma Vidya is a tricky subject. I won't say it is a difficult subject. I won't say it is an easy subject. I can't say that. Because who's to say something is difficult or easy? Karatvam is there means the subject matter has to be clear. Nobody can stop it. Yeah, Sajid, can you mute everybody? So, so through limited things, through limitations, through the appreciation of limitations, we are beginning to appreciate is there something called unlimited? And what can that unlimited be? This is what we are trying to, this is the unique aspect of Vedanta. That is why we have to be careful. We have to follow the Shastra carefully. We can't take anything for granted. And I might say I understood this, but the next moment I may feel like I did not understand. And then, of course, understanding has to happen because that is what this Buddhi is meant for. Understanding has to take place. And so, limitation. Anything we know in this world is limited. And even what I think of myself is also as a limited being. So this limitation, parichinnatvam, is looms large. That is all I know. And once I understand this parichinnatvam, I will understand that that which sustains the adhisthana of these limited things is Atma, which is not limited. Only the not limited Atma can sustain all the limitations. That we will slowly appreciate.
Okay.
And the second question was
about anatma. Anatma, which is constantly changing, why should it cause us pain?
so why should anatma cause you pain? You see, there is a thing. Something is small. Why it should be small? Well, something is big. If something can be big, something can be small. Something is there. It is light. Light in weight. Why is it light in weight? Well, because it is not heavy. So if you can have a heavy thing, then we will have a light thing. And perception is there. You're able to see things? Yes, I'm able to see things. If you're able to see things, then it is also possible that you cannot see things. So when sight is there, absence of sight will be there. Possibility of the absence of sight.
Yeah.
Okay, so like this is there. So now, do you know what happiness is? Yes, I know what happiness is. That means you already know what sorrow is. Without knowing sorrow, you can't say, I know happiness.
Right.
Think about it. Without knowing sadness, you can't say, I know happiness. You can't recognize happiness. The fact that sorrow and happiness are there side by side, I can say, I recognize both. Now, the experiences are there, variety of experiences are there. And my experiences seem to depend on certain situations. You analyze what makes you happy, Haraprasad. All you have to do is analyze, list out all the things that make you happy. Each of those things in your list will be a particular thing or a particular situation, correct?
Yes.
It may be a status of my health. It can be the status of my family members. It can be the status of the country. It can be all these things. Now, all those are subject to change. So, because my happiness depends on particular status of these things, and since these statuses can change, that means what? Now, what I see is different than what makes me happy, which means what? Which means it has to make me sad. If you say my happiness depends on this list of 10 things, then these things are changing. If they're constant, then you will always be happy. You will always be happy. But they are changing, agama payina. Because they're all agama payis, my happiness is as though surrendered to so many things. I have surrendered my happiness because I have listed so many things which cause me happiness. And those so many things don't remain the same. Good weather causes joy in me. Good, that means what? How long does it take for good weather to become bad weather?
Yeah.
So that is how it is. That is how it is.
I see. Thank you. Yeah, I understand.
By its own nature, the temporary beings, being a source of happiness, is never accompanied with contentment. So, what we think is a source of happiness is not accompanied with contentment. So, we look for some other source of happiness. So, that cycle will continue.
Yeah, correct. So what Prasad is saying is, what we think is a source of happiness is not accompanied with contentment. That is a statement he made.
Yeah. Yeah.
Saying is that source, that object,
Yeah.
this person brings me joy. But then the joy is not an attribute of this person. So if the joy were an attribute of the person, wherever the person goes, the joy also will go along with him or her. And therefore, and then that joy just falls on me also. Therefore, I can be happy. Unfortunately, this joy, Prasad is saying, is not an attribute. Not a part. It's not like fire. You can say heat is the property of fire. Wherever fire is, there has to be heat and some light. This is a law. Unfortunately, happiness is not like that. Not a property of anything. Therefore, Prasad was saying, therefore it makes me seek something else. Maybe I'm after the wrong thing. I must go after the right thing. We're ready to adjust our pursuits. And so, yeah, that is
Okay.
the analyzing.
Question, Jai Kumarji, if you're done. Sorry.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
analyzing these experiences gives us a clue to these facts which we have ignored in the past. Yeah, go ahead, Mohan.
Basically, last few shlokas we've been discussing that it is neither the Atma or Anatma that causes sorrow, right? So whether it changes or not should be irrelevant, because it's not the Anatma also, it is how we perceive it or how it affects us internally. That is what is going to result in sorrow or happiness. Isn't that what we were discussing? Object in itself, it does not have power to cause sorrow or anything. You see an object, you perceive an object, knowledge happens. But what the result could be sukha or dukha depending on how you perceive it, because you have raga or dvesha towards that.
Correct. So yeah, so these verses are highlighting both the Atma and Anatma. Atma always is, and so it cannot be a source of sorrow. And he is using the example of death in this case. He is not fully defined why Atma cannot be a source of sorrow. But he says if death is a source of sorrow for you, then you don't have to worry, because there is really no thing called death. Only the bodies will perish, but Atma, which is you, will not die. So Krishna is basically saying, okay, if death is a problem for you, then don't worry, Bhishma is not going to die. Just a statement he makes, which is true in that Atma, which is the essence of Bhishma, which is the essence of Drona, and which is the essence of Arjuna and Krishna, is not going to perish. So Atma. So on account of Atma, you don't have to worry. Don't cry for Atma, because Atma always is. You also will be there. Now, what about Anatma? This is what Krishna is unfolding. Anatma, anything you say causes sorrow, is not permanent. It is an agama pai. And today it's like that, tomorrow it will be different. And suppose somebody says, no, you don't know my life, Jai Kumarji. It's not like that. I have had no moment of happiness. Life has been hell for me. And life has not treated me well. That is also possible. Yes, we are not making fun of these things. These are not simple statements. In fact, to understand that serious situation only, we have to understand Vedanta. Otherwise, really, there is no hope. And that person who says, there is no hope, Swamiji, and for me, I am better dead than alive, that person will pick up Vedanta. That person will pick up Vedanta because of perhaps past experiences. If the person has Viveka, Vairagya, and then Shamadhi, Shatka Sampatti, and Mukshutvam, then Vedanta will come just like that. So in one of our classes, we were having this Gita home study classes in Houston. And we were studying, this was just in the beginning. we used to meet once a week, 2 hours we used to have a class. Then somebody used to be part of this class, very serious, and he was, he was retired and almost retired, and he caught on to it like this, and then he quit my class. You know why? Because the class is going too slow. 2 hours a week is not enough. He says, where can I get this book? I am going to read by myself. This was his attitude. I said, Tathastu, go for it. You don't have to attend this class. Why? Why should he say that? Because suddenly it becomes clear for him or her. And so Mohini ji, that is that appreciation we all will get slowly.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
So, is happiness a property of Atma? Because we said it's not a property of an Atma. So, is it a property of Atma?
Good. This is a good question. Is happiness a property of Atma? So, this will get a little technical. So, when we say property, every material has a property. Every object has a property. Every compound has a property. Every element has a property. So they have properties. What we say is, if the property can only be there for anything that is finite. So Atma, if it is a property, then the property can be what? See, if you want to make, you're making some dal bhat or some sabji you're making, okay, and it's a bit hot, spicy, because the spices, some chili powder is there, which is hot, which has the property of hotness, heat, right? And what do? You can put some lavanam, salt. Little salt if you put, it will suppress the feeling of heat, correct? These are tricks. Yeah. You ask all the cooks, they will tell you all these tricks they have. Yeah. And sometimes in order to make shakara pongal a little sweet, they will add a little extra salt. That extra salt will make it sweeter. Okay. So, if we say Atma has a property of Ananda, then somebody can add some lavanam and then they can make it a little salty, and a pinch of salt in this Ananda will be there. And so we can't, Atma doesn't have that kind of a possibility. Therefore, we don't say property. We say it is a Swarupa. The Ananda is the Swarupa of Atma. That is what it is. And Atma means Satchidananda, Sat, existence, that existence that you are, which makes everything else appear to exist. That Satyam, that Sat, and that Chit, that Atma, because of which I am conscious of the entire world. That Chit is also Ananda, is Ananda Swarupa. And that is how the discussion goes, Ajay, Anil. And so it's not a property. I think that is a good thing to remember going forward. It is not Atma has no properties.
So it is like Atma itself is happiness.
So when we say, again here, when we say happiness, what is your idea of happiness? That which comes and goes.
No, I'm not meaning by that.
That which comes and goes. That is only happiness we know.
Okay, then maybe I'll use the word bliss there.
Bliss is another word. What do you know bliss? Have you ever been? Suppose I ask, have you been blissful? If I ask, what will you say?
I mean to say something which never goes, like.
Yeah, something which never goes. So see, our language itself betrays our idea, our notions. Something which, so happiness that never goes. That is what I want. I want happiness that never goes. Give me that. Can Atma give me that? So I am still holding on to my notions of Ananda. And so all the ice cream Ananda and all that all these experiences I've had, and this is all coming and going. I know it's a waste of time. Give me something. Can Bhagavad Gita, can Krishna give me that? I want that. If he doesn't give me that, I will go somewhere else. Okay. So this give me that. If this mindset is there, then we are still within the framework of experience. Remember, I want experience of happiness. This is all the happiness I know. I don't know any other happiness. But now we are saying, hey, that experience of happiness, even the experience of sadness is sustained by Atma. Can you handle that? If Atma has a property of happiness, how come I'm sad? Tell me that. If Atma has a property of happiness, then I shouldn't be sad. Because I am Atma. Correct?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
therefore, this idea of
No, but you only said, right, we can add sadness. But you only said that we can, if it is a property, we can add sadness and it can become sad, right? Salt of sadness.
Correct. So it's not a property, and so that abhasa is there. Abhyasa, there's the words that Shastra uses, and so we don't say the property of Atma is Ananda. We don't say that, right? Because property implies there's a limitation. Only limited things have properties. Swabhava, Swarupa, Swarupananda.
And one more question: this titikshasva, so is it like lot lakara madhyam purusha ekvachana of titikshate?
Yeah, exactly. Lot madhyama purusha ekvachanam. It's atmanepadi, not parasmaipadi, and titiksh dhatu. Titiksh. Yeah.
It said tij dhatu. Actually,
Titiksh dhatu.
titiksh dhatu.
Titiksh. So it's a sananta. There is a pratyaya called san pratyaya. So san pratyaya of what dhatu? I need to look up. So like jignasasva. Jignasa means desire to know. Bubuksha means desire to eat, have food.
Mm-hmm.
Like that, pipasa, desire to drink, pipasa. So in Hindi also you have those words, pipasa, etc.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes. Jignasasva. So, titikshasva. So like that there is a, I will look that up and see what is the main dhatu of titiksha. So it's atmanepadi, okay? Lot.
Dhanyavad.
So we will conclude with that. It's about 10:40 here. Let's chant Dhanvantari Stotra 3 times. So since all of you have that with you, we will. I'll mute everybody. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Dhanvantaraye Amrita Kalasha Hastaya Sarvamaya Vinashanaya Trailokyanataya Shri Mahavishnave Namaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Dhanvantaraye Amrita Kalasha Hastaya Sarvamaya Nivashanaya Sarvamaya Vinashanaya Trailokyanataya Shri Mahavishnave Namaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Dhanvantaraye Amrita Kalasha Hastaya Sarvamaya Vinashanaya Trailokyanataya Shri Mahavishnave Namaha.